Toyota calls this an SUV. I'm gonna call this a wagon. Others may argue this is a crossover. This is the all-new 2025 Crown Signia, and today I'm gonna be reviewing why this is now on the market for Toyota. And if you're gonna ask me, this is the closest thing to Lexus that we now offer. My name's Aiden with Upper James Toyota, and today we're gonna be taking a close, in-depth review to see the new SUV that Toyota's brought to market. So this being Toyota's 9th SUV, we're gonna go through them all right now. So you're gonna start with a Corolla Cross, then to a BZ4X, a RAV4, a Crown Signia, a Land Cruiser, a 4Runner, a Sequoia, a Highlander, and a Grand Highlander. We have quite a few SUVs to offer any one of our clients. Now, this being a brand new model for 2025, I definitely think this is the closest thing you will come to getting a Lexus badge on a vehicle without paying a Lexus price tag. I'm gonna say from this front end design, this is giving a very close comparison to the Camry style or even the new Prius style with this integrated headlight onto the front edge of your hood. Now, looking at the front end, I'm going to be a huge fan of what Toyota has decided to do. I think the front end of this is something very, very different from Toyota and definitely makes this vehicle look a little bit more futuristic than other vehicles that we have in our lineup today. One interesting thing though that I will be noting on the front end of this vehicle is going to be right here. This is your daytime running light, and oddly enough, you're gonna see no light up here. This is a weird little vent that there's actually no use to have on this SUV. And then you may ask, well, where's the headlight on this vehicle? It's actually going to be down here, which I think is a really interesting addition that they put on this vehicle. And it's gonna be a style that definitely comes directly from the BZ4X, but it also doesn't have any fog lights. So I think that's a really interesting thing that Toyota has done. Now, onto the front grille design, I think they've done a great job. And this color being black sand pearl, it's going to be one of our only vehicles you can actually get as an SUV from us that is going to be coming with this color configuration, which definitely looks a bit darker and more of a darker black color than our classic midnight black metallic. You guys can let me know what you think down below in the comments of this color configuration. But I think an all black vehicle with black rims is definitely going to be one of my favorites. And I think it is a great, great color combination to get your new Crown Signia in. Now, the last thing we mentioned on the front end of the new Crown Signia is going to be your Toyota logo. And stay tuned until we get to the back of the vehicle, because I'm gonna be showing you why the front logo looks a little bit different than the rear logo on this vehicle. Now, if we're taking a closer peek onto the side profile of the new Crown Signia, I am going to be saying this is now my favorite rim that we offer directly from the factory. On this, you're getting 21-inch alloy wheels, and they are definitely like a gunmetal dark gray, even knocking on the door of a black color. Now, this vehicle can come configured in different color options. I think all of them look really, really great, but I think a black vehicle with these nice black gloss fender flares really rounds off this vehicle, and I think styling-wise is going to be my favorite new vehicle that we now offer in our lineup. The only one thing that I'm actually going to be complaining about on the new design of this Signia is going to be this mirror cap. I think they've done a great job having a turn indicator built into the mirror. I think any vehicle that has that makes it look definitely newer on the road and something more up to date. But the only thing I'm going to be arguing against is I don't like how they added this matte black plastic. I think everything else on the vehicle is this nice black gloss plastic, and I think that makes it look a little bit more premium and way more well-rounded in my opinion. One last thing to note on the side profile of the new Crown Signia, and something that I don't know if I'm gonna be the biggest fan of, is going to be this strip of chrome on the bottom of the windows and your roof rail. I think that a vehicle that's gonna be all black, that's something I would probably be doing if I'm gonna be in the market for a new Signia, is that I will be deleting this chrome and wrapping it a gloss black to really give the vehicle more of a rounded theme of the all black color or any color that you are looking for, and I think would make this vehicle look a little bit better in my opinion. You guys can let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Now, taking a closer look onto the rear profile of the Crown Signia. I first saw this vehicle, and when this just got here last week, I looked at the back and I thought, this actually looks very, very similar to a Lincoln. I think this full brake light all the way across, I've mentioned it before in a Lexus comparison video, that it is kind of a Lexus theme that the light goes all the way across. And the way that these lights are styled, it definitely looks very Lincoln in my opinion. Now, I said on the front end, look at that Toyota logo. I'm gonna show you here as well. This has gotta be the smallest Toyota logo we have ever decided to put on one of our vehicles. And I think it's a really interesting addition that they made. I actually think I would like this vehicle without the logo on the back. I think Crown is written out nice and big so people can see exactly what you're driving, but oddly enough, you don't see anywhere it's saying Signia. Anywhere on the vehicle, it doesn't say Crown Signia, it just says Crown. And obviously this vehicle kind of is on the same platform as our Crown sedan, but that being a sedan model, this being more of a crossover or a wagon in my opinion, I think it's a really interesting thing that they decided to not include on the rear end of this vehicle. Now, opening it up and looking at the trunk space in the back, very, very glad this actually opens up decently quick. This compared to a Highlander or a RAV, a BZ4X, I think that those open up decently slow, and I'm happy to say this actually opens up pretty quickly in my opinion. Now, looking at the rear trunk space, I think they've done a very, very good job. This is actually much deeper than a Venza, and I think that the Venza having that sloped back really didn't use all of the practicality of having a, four-door full-size SUV, and I think the wagon look of this vehicle has definitely added more trunk space and more rear space into the back. And I think that looking at this, it definitely looks premium. I think they've done a very, very good job, same like the Venza, that it's one of those vehicles in our lineup that is so close to a Lexus, giving you some Lexus technology in the vehicle, Lexus styling in the vehicle, and it feels like a Lexus. When you're on the inside, the way the leather is, the way the finishes are on the inside, I think that Toyota has done a very, very good job. And if you're in the market for a new SUV, I think this could be a very, very good option if you're looking for a higher end SUV. Another great feature that I love about the Crown Signia is going to be the rear powered tailgate with the kick sensor. Now, I've done other videos before on a Highlander, a Grand Highlander, a RAV4, and typically in our lineup, you have to be moving up to a top trim level to be getting this option on your vehicle. Now, for the Crown Signia, it comes in two different models, a limited like this one, or the advanced package, which is a few $1,000s more in the Canadian market. And I think that this feature is going to be one that will just give you way more use for getting in and out of your trunk whenever you've got your hands full with groceries. And it's super simple. You just put your foot into the rear of the bumper and the tailgate will close down for you, which is super, super simple. Now, the great thing too is that once this is done, if your vehicle is going to be locked, this vehicle does come standard with power folding mirrors as well. So it's a really great visual reminder, just knowing by looking at the vehicle if your car is locked or unlocked, which alleviates you having to actually go up to the vehicle or to the key fob to actually manually hit lock. Alrighty, now taking a closer look onto the inside of the 2025 Crown Signia. I'm very happy to be out of the wind. It's a very, very windy day for us to be filming, so I'm glad there's no noise in here. Now, looking onto the inside of this vehicle, if you've ever seen my Crown video I did or the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max video, you will note that this gold trim that's kind of by the dash, around your vents, around your volume knob, comes directly from those two vehicles. And I think it's a pretty cool touch to be adding on the inside of this vehicle. Now, this is featured with a black leather interior. You can option this to a brown interior as well. I actually haven't seen that color scheme in person yet, but someone like myself, I do like the brown interior, especially with any color configuration on the outside. I think the brown would be a really, really cool touch and just kind of giving this a different look, as most SUVs in our lineup come with a black trim. So I think that's something that I would be opting in for on my Signia. You guys can let me know what your favorite configuration would be down below in the comments. Now, looking at all the displays on this vehicle, your shifter, there are so many similarities in this vehicle versus some other vehicles that we have. Now, this shifter is going to be coming directly out of the regular Crown sedan, a Grand Highlander Hybrid Max, the new Prius, and I think it is a really, really interesting design that they have added, and I'm actually really happy they've integrated this into some of our newer vehicles. I think that this alleviates a lot of space on the inside, having that big kind of bulky shifter on the inside. And I think that they have done a very, very good job at keeping this very simple and user-friendly. Now, it does take a bit of time to get used to. You have to kind of go left and then down for drive. You go left and up for reverse. You just go left for neutral, and then you just hit the park button to actually throw yourself in park. Once you get adjusted to it, it definitely makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. Now, looking at screens, looking at the layout of this vehicle, I'm very, very comfortable in this vehicle. I've been in this with a bunch of my coworkers. We've taken it out for a drive. Same with the rear seats, and we'll get back there shortly. But I think space on this vehicle and this kind of giving a wagon kind of theme to it, and that's exactly what I think this vehicle is. I know Toyota's going to call it an SUV. I think this is definitely more of a wagon, kind of scheme on this vehicle. But space is phenomenal on this. I think that the layout of it, with the vents, with your center console here, I think they have done a very, very good job. Now, the screens are our newest technology that we offer in the vehicle. So your MID and your full Toyota screens are going to be 12.3 inches with built-in Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is all wireless, with built-in Sirius XM. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you will know one thing I'm a huge, huge fan of. It's a panoramic sunroof or moonroof. We have it in this one. Now, the only thing I don't like is going to be this, black piece across your front two passengers. However, this opening up into the rear definitely makes this vehicle feel a lot bigger in my opinion. Now, this is the only way this vehicle can come configured, and oddly enough, it is going to be a fixed panoramic moonroof. You cannot actually open this. You can only close the shade to the front or to the rear, but if I'm ever going to be getting one of these, I'm going to have it always open. I think that they just make the vehicle look 10 times bigger. Now, getting back to the front of this vehicle, a couple other interesting things that I'm going to be a huge fan of. Number one is going to be your rear view mirror here. This is actually Toyota's digital rear view mirror. So you can sync this up to 3 different garage doors, and it's going to be the camera mounted system that's going to be on your rear glass of your trunk. So if you have any taller passengers, any boxes, you're transporting a bunch of stuff up north to the cottage, this will actually be a great standard feature that Toyota offers and is an option that you can do for most of our vehicles as a genuine Toyota accessory from the factory. And I think it's a really, really great addition to be including on a vehicle coming in at this price point. Now, a couple other big things I'm a huge fan of. JBL sound system standard on this vehicle. A heated steering wheel, heated front seats, heated rear seats, cooled front seats, and might I add that everything on the inside is so premium feel. Like, this leather is very, very soft, and I would argue it's going to be the most comfortable seats that we now offer into our lineup. I think that a couple other vehicles I'm interested to look at too are going to be the new 4Runner, the redesigned 2025. I have seen videos in the States or people that have gotten their hands on an early access one that they have said on a higher trim level with the leather that actually comes from Toyota is definitely a more premium feel. So I think that maybe this is something that's going to be very similar onto the new 4Runner. Now, a couple other things I'm going to be a huge fan of onto the inside of the Signia. Number one is going to be the wireless phone charger. It's actually going to be a vertical mount now. So you just simply slide your phone in. It has these interesting little clips that will actually make your phone not fall back and forth depending if you're accelerating or braking. And I think that it serves more use than just a flat charger and definitely alleviates a little bit more space onto the inside. Now, a really, really interesting 2 items that they have added on the inside of this vehicle. Number one is going to be an auto heated steering wheel option. You can actually throw this into an auto mode. There's going to be 2 levels of your heated steering wheel, level 1, I guess, and a level 2. Just like your heated seats being a 3-stage heated seat or cooled seats, they have offered the same thing on your heated steering wheel, but now with an auto feature. And I think it's really interesting. The car will just basically know when to put the heated steering wheel on. If you're getting in and it's super cold in the morning, that will turn on for you. A couple other things that I think is a really interesting touch that Toyota has done, and a first that Toyota has actually integrated in a brand new car since 2012 on a Sequoia, I believe. You guys can let me know if I'm off on that timeline. However, it's going to be these 2 buttons on the left side of the steering wheel. There's going to be 2 buttons here. Number one is a headlight washer. I've mentioned before in a Lexus video that it's a very, very typical Lexus feature that you actually have a little bracket that kind of looks like a little oval, I guess, that will pop out and wash your front headlights. This one on the front end is actually mounted above above the headlight on the actual inlet of where the actual light is, and it just basically throws down some windshield washer fluid to, you know, scrub off any bugs, salt, or dirt from the road. And I think that's a very, very cool feature they have done. The last one that I'm actually going to be a massive fan of, and again, I don't know how many other vehicles that we offer in our lineup, I can't think of anything on the top of my head, is going to be this button up here that has a little kind of like a heartbeat symbol that tells you, you know, how your heart is actually beating, and it kind of has a lines going up and down. This is going to be for the rim of your front windshield. It's going to be a heater built in to just the edges around the windshield, and that's gonna basically melt off any ice or any snow for the winter time, making it very, very easy, and it's a more efficient way than putting your front defroster on to actually get off any ice and snow. So I think that that little touch Toyota has done definitely makes this a more premium feel and more premium feature-wise versus any other SUV that we have in our lineup. Now, that's enough of the front end. I'm gonna be jumping into the rear of the vehicle to see how the space works for someone who's a little bit bigger like myself. Okay, now taking a step onto the rear of the 2025 Signia. Now, I'm very, very comfortable back here. I think that headspace, when I first saw this vehicle, I didn't know exactly how I'd be fitting in it. And I think that being in this vehicle with other coworkers, we have actually had all 4 seats or a 5th seat in the middle all occupied, and it's actually been very, very comfortable. I don't think there's one thing I would really change out of the rear of this car. Now, convenience features wise, there's a lot in the back, and I think that Toyota's done a very, very good job keeping it simple, but also giving you a premium dollar and a premium feel features wise as well for actually the kind of car that you're getting yourself into. Now, a couple things to note. JBL sound system are on the side of both of your rear doors back here, and this is our best sound system that we offer. Oddly enough, there's no subwoofer in the trunk, which actually came out of the Venza, and something that they typically offered on the Venza and also on the RAV. They have that on a limited or an XSE package as well. So I think that's interesting that there is no subwoofer in the trunk for this, but it definitely still sounds very, very good. Now, you have 2 USB-C lightning ports back here to charge up any devices for you and your family, 2 vents back here. There's no climate controls to actually set, you know, how cold or how hot you want it back here, which is fine. It's very, very easy to do off of the front, which I'm not going to really be complaining a whole lot about. Now, on the rear, you do have standard on a limited is going to be heated rear seats. And again, I think the dollar figure you're spending on this vehicle, you want some of those more premium features. And I think that's another great one to be adding that's standard on either the limited or an advanced package, either route that you go on a Signia. Now, you pull down the middle here. I actually like this strap too. It definitely makes it more convenient to pull down. And when you do pull it down, I'm gonna like that the top of this isn't this like matte plastic that we typically offer on a RAV or a Corolla Cross, for example. I think that this little gloss black, and it actually looks very, very similar to the color of the rims on this vehicle as like an off black. It's not almost black, it's kind of like a darker gray. It matches the front trim in the front around your cup holders and your wireless phone charger. I think that's another premium feel to this vehicle as well. Now, this being one of our only SUVs that we offer standard with a moonroof, yeah, I'm very, very happy back here. I think that with the shader all the way forward, I think it definitely makes the vehicle feel a little bit smaller. But looking at the size of this vehicle and this being more of a wagon style, in my opinion, I actually think that space in this, they have done a very, very good job. And this compared to the outgoing Venza with the sloped back, I really wasn't a big fan of the rear seats in the Venza. It just didn't really give someone who's a bit taller like myself more of that headroom and more of like a luxurious feel, I think, in my own opinion. Now, if you own a Venza, I want to know, are you guys persuaded to get the newest Signia? Are you excited to get into something different that looks a little bit different, comes a lot of similar features at a different price point and a different design? But if I had a previous generation Venza and I saw this, I would be running to the store to be getting one. I think that the design of this vehicle and the feel and the quality that you're getting, Toyota has done a very, very good job at doing so. Now, the Crown Signia is going to be replacing the Venza, and oddly enough, they have actually canceled the Venza now twice. They had it originally back in like the 2012 era, then brought it back into the early 2020s, and now 2025 is around the corner and the Venza is gone. This is going to replace it, and in my opinion, they have done a very, very good job. Now, talking powertrain, the Signia is only built like the Venza as a hybrid, so a 2.5 4-cylinder hybrid motor in this vehicle, pushing out a little bit more horsepower than the outgoing Venza. You're getting about 240 horsepower in this vehicle. And oddly enough, you get a little bit more power. It's going to be a little bit bigger of a vehicle, about 6.5% bigger than the Venza. And you're going to be getting an average of 6.2 liters per 100 versus the Venza, which was 6.1 liters combined highway and city. So I think they've done a very, very good job to keep that around the same mileage and going to be a new style on this vehicle, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, talking price point, this vehicle is going to be coming in at $57,450, which is your MSRP for 2025. This being a limited model, obviously the advanced package comes in a little bit more, but this one's going to be coming in at a pretty reasonable price tag for actually what you are getting. And again, what I mentioned at the beginning of this video is the closest thing you'll be getting to a Lexus. Now, you guys can let me know down below in the comments what you think of it, and if you think this price point and this redesign for a brand new, our 9th SUV in our lineup is going to be worth it in your opinion. My name is Aiden with Upper James Toyota. Please do not forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our future Toyota related content, and we'll check you guys out in the next video.